Hello everybody and welcome back for some weekly VR news. As always, I am Mateo311 and this is your channel for everything VR related. So things are getting a little bit weird in the VR space lately. The Apple Vision Pro has just gone on sale and is completely sold out, and that thing's at $3,500. But we'll talk about, does this even matter? You could also play 3DS games now on your Quest natively, so that's a bit of a surprise. Additionally, there's lots of cool releases and other game updates to go over. So there are, of course, the links and timestamps if you want to skip ahead in this video. But before we jump in, today's video is brought to you by this bad boy, the Orzen Boom 3 projector. This is mid-range, $300, but honestly, it's so convenient based on the technology they put in here. First off, it has a Fire Stick or something similar to a Fire Stick built right in. Netflix, Prime, whatever you want to watch, just click. You don't need to attach a computer or anything else to this. There's also USB if you want to bring some files on the go. It also has a massive speaker system in here. This doubles as a wireless Bluetooth speaker if you want that, but that's why it's so big. It's got a subwoofer. It's got some blasting speakers. Sounds pretty darn awesome. Honestly, I'm not overselling it. They just wanted to give you a full package. It's a 1080p projector, so don't think you're going 4K, 60 Hertz, top of the line image quality, but this is just super convenient. Solid, mid-range with tons of features. Check it out. There's a link in the description. Okay, so let's start today's video off like normal with the check-in, and I have a super important topic to go over, and that's Bulletstorm. No, don't leave the channel. This is basically how I run my channel. Sponsored content, everything like that. We need to have a discussion really fast. I'm gonna go rapid fire. A lot of information, but I don't want to waste your time because some might not care. Anyway, Bulletstorm has released and the overall opinion hasn't been fantastic. Now, personally, I was left scratching my head because I saw something that other people didn't. Now, I'm not gonna try and make excuses for myself here. I do have a couple. I did feel vindicated when Flat the VR posted on Twitter saying that it was a great port and they were having a lot of fun with it. So I was like, see, it's not just me. I'm not crazy. But overall, the opinion has not been great. And I know it's even worse on other platforms. So a lot of people, were annoyed that I did sponsored content for this. And generally, sponsored content is something I don't take lightly. It's never been for the channel. I've waited years before I produced any sponsored content. I spoke to my community about it. For the most part, everyone was fine. But when you sponsor a game and then the overall outlook on it is not great, yeah, it doesn't look fantastic. Again, not trying to make excuses here. I just want to say that I'll do better in the future. I have a criteria. Now, this wasn't a review. Definitely wasn't a review. I was just showing off my gameplay. But if I'm doing sponsored content, I shouldn't be throwing out strong opinions. Okay? Because obviously, there can at least appear to be a conflict of interest. So I'll try and hold back on those best as possible. Additionally, my criteria for a review would be how fun is the game? And in this case, I actually thought it was really fun. I'm not going to deny that. I really had a fun time playing the game. I did not see the majority of issues that people are reporting. Again, I was on a pre-release build, but there's no reason why a pre-release build should be better than the release build. So it doesn't make sense to me. Regardless, I did have fun playing. I spoke to a bunch of other people while I was playing it, and they seem to be enjoying it too. So go figure. We'll move on from that. I don't know. People enjoyed Starfield, and that is mostly negative reviews. I hated that game. Digressing. What I want to stay on here is basically, is the game fun? What's the quality of the game, and what's the overall value? Now, in hindsight, there are quality issues here. Every different version has different issues, and $40 is a high asking price. The last thing I ever want to do is give you guys buyer's remorse. Luckily, both the Quest and PCVR have returns. PlayStation has to do something about that. It's ridiculous that you can't return a game. But overall, if you got it, it wasn't what I hyped it up to be, even though I didn't think I was hyping the game. Hopefully you returned it and everything's okay there. And all I could say is going forward, I'll do better. I'll think a little bit more of that criteria that I normally use for a review. And again, I don't take sponsored content lightly. I turn down stuff constantly. I've spoken about things I've turned down. I did sponsored content for Stride, but I was pretty rough on the game overall. The developers were, as you can expect, not super happy. I don't give people review access to my sponsored content. It's not like they can look at it and say, we don't like what you said here. Please change that. I don't allow them to do that. You guys don't have to believe me on this. That's fine. Regardless, you know, it looks like I'm trying to cover my butt here. I'm just telling you guys that I have a commitment to you. I want to show games in their best light, but also be as honest and upfront and transparent as possible. And I'll do better going forward. And on that topic, tomorrow I have sponsored content for Underdogs releasing, but I really don't think this one will be controversial at all. So let's move right into the new releases, again talking about Underdogs. Underdogs is a physics-based mech brawler set in a dystopian future where AI runs the planet. The last free cities of humanity have gone underground and have turned into one giant robotic pit fighting arena. It includes roguelike elements to keep the game exciting for an extended period of time, plus it's got a very unique style in terms of cutscenes and overall graphics. This is from the same studio that brought you Racket NX, and it's extremely cool to see them working on something completely different in the VR space. Now, speaking of things that are different, a music-themed metaverse is releasing this week. Soundscape is using the Unreal Engine 5, plus some of its latest technologies like Lumen, to deliver some high-quality, psychedelic-style effects. This is your virtual destination for those who truly enjoy music and want to experience it with some additional senses. There's exclusive performances by artists like deadmau5, Goose, Slash, and more, and you could also experience this in both flat and VR modes. So this is a whole new world for music lovers and those who enjoy social apps. Soundscape also released a free version nearly 7 years ago, and while it's definitely not the same as the one they're releasing now, it might be a good demo to check out to know if this is right for you. Now, unfortunately, that's all of this week's new releases, but remember, we want quality over quantity. And speaking of quality, I have to point out that one of the best flat to VR ports, Hellblade Senua's Sacrifice, is currently on sale for $2.99. This game features incredible graphics, a deep storyline that revolves around mental illness actually manifesting real demons, plus some great combat and tricky puzzles. Hellblade was one of the early flat games to actually get a VR port, and the developers definitely didn't skimp here, but keep in mind this is still a third-party action title, so if you only play games with motion controls, well, this isn't one. Now, moving into game updates, we have great news there too, starting with the Quest 3 version of Saints and Sinners Chapter 2. Nearly 4 months ago, I had footage of the updates coming for Saints and Sinners on the Quest 3, but it looks like it's taken the studio just that long to make sure everything is perfect. Clearly, there's a significant upgrade when it comes to textures, lighting effects, and overall jaggies found throughout the world. Now, it's definitely not PC VR quality, but it's definitely a nice step in the right direction. I also hope at this point the studio has made sure to nail down all of those release bugs that they had, because they did actually give up on this game when it originally released and waited for the PC VR version. Now, while we're going over new updates, Walkabout Mini Golf is once again releasing new DLC. The Jules Verne Around the World in 80 Days courses are now available, and it looks like a wild ride. Similar to 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, you'll now find yourself playing mini golf across a unique vessel, but this time you'll be floating above the world rather than submerged underneath it. If you've already checked out this new DLC, let me know what you think down in the comments. And now we need to jump into some unique stories, starting with citravr, which is a 3DS emulator that you could use natively on your Quest. It's from the creator of Airlink, Amanda Watson, and it basically came out of nowhere. We saw it a little bit at CES, and now you can get it directly from SideQuest. Now, they use SideQuest rather than the App Lab or official Metastore because Nintendo likes to litigate. They like to go after emulators, but everything here is from open source software. It is compliant. If you use it, don't worry about getting in trouble. Installing ROMs can be a sketchy area. To officially do this, you would have to own the game and have a hacked 3DS and copy it down. I don't want to spend time on the whole ROM discussion. I know most people will just rip these off the internet anyway. Let it be clear that Amanda Watson and myself are not promoting that, but this just shows how we're constantly getting more usage out of our Quest device. Airlink gave it great PC VR capabilities, and now Citra turns it into a 3DS emulator. Now, I personally never owned a 3DS, but I knew people love them, and I haven't tried this application yet, nor do I plan on it, but I am happy to see that we just keep getting more and more utilization out of our Quest device. Now, speaking of devices with utility, I really don't understand how the Magic Leap is still around. It recently received nearly $500 million for continued development. I'll get into that in just a second, but we have to stop and ask ourselves, is this somehow related to the Apple Vision Pro? Is the fact that Apple, this major company, is getting into the VR or spatial computing space, is that somehow encouraging and spurring more development here? Now, if you're wondering who the hell would invest nearly $500 million into Magic Leap, a product that's been around for years now and has done pretty much nothing, well, it's Saudi Arabia, which now has a controlling interest in this company. To date, Magic Leap has received almost $5 billion in outside funding. Now, overall, this leaves me scratching my head because Magic Leap has been around since 2010. And it's kind of like, well, what have they done? Why do people keep pumping money into them? They tried a product, it wasn't really successful. They pivoted to enterprise. Now they're going to go up against Apple. I don't know. I'm a little confused here. I honestly think, people are getting extremely excited about the Apple Vision Pro. And that's our last topic of today. Does the Apple Vision Pro even really matter? Obviously, if you're at all aware about this topic, the headset just went on sale. Pre-orders just happened. It basically immediately sold out. Some people are saying they could still order it, but if you order it now, you're not getting it until March, sometime in March. So it's been all the way pushed back. Now, you would say, all right, super successful product, $3,500. How'd they pull it off? Well, it's Apple magic. No, they only produced roughly 80,000 at launch. And I think for the entire year of 2024, it looks like they're only going to make maybe 200,000 maximum. That is the speculation we're hearing, based on parts producers and just how complex it is to put this headset together. It's not very easy. The components are tricky. It's not like your typical Quest 3 plastic, super easy to mass manufacture. It is overly complicated, but they wanted to do something special. Now, going back to the full topic of will it matter? Yes and no. We're going to see more of, like I said, more people showing interest in VR and spatial computing. More people who want to kind of get in and go against Apple by just undermining them on price. Kind of like when the iPod was brand new, Microsoft tried to jump in with Zune. And then you had the iPad and you got a bunch of different Chrome tablets that tried to compete with it. And honestly, a lot of times, just because they're cheaper, yeah, they sell. So we're going to see a lot of companies try and do that. Overall, this could be good or bad for VR, because if you flood the market with crap, it's bad. The first time experience in VR has to be good. It can ruin it for people forever. Motion sickness, stuff like that, if it appears gimmicky. So I understand why Apple went super high end. They want people to put on the headset and go, wow, this technology is amazing. I'm blown away. I need that in my life. It just needs to get cheaper. That's what they're trying to do right now. And I think they're going to pull it off. So the immediate impact on the industry, probably not huge. The next 2 to 5 year impact, most likely going to be significant. Now, this is only speculation based on everything I'm reading online, parts manufacturers, other companies getting involved, etc., etc. But I am personally not going to get one. It's just beyond what I'm willing to pay. Now, I am really curious if you guys do want me to cover the Apple Vision Pro. I'll head out to an Apple store, demo it, beg my friends to send me one, etc., etc. Maybe even consider buying one, but that's unlikely. I also wonder what your overall opinion of this headset is. Do you think it'll have an impact on the industry? Let me know down in the comments. And that was today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, please consider subscribing, just like this one says.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for my daddy.
Good job.
Bye.